Hi, welcome to Module 2. We're on our second day of our summer session, and I hope some of you are working out the kinks. I just want to go over a few quick things so that you feel comfortable, make sure that you're caught up, and highlight what you should be doing. Okay, so what should you be doing? Just to clarify your due dates, a few of you have asked. There are set speech dates that will give you due dates that will give you a little bit more time, but for the everyday assignments, they will be due the day after the module's posted. So the intro video was posted yesterday. It is due tonight at midnight. Today, you'll have a few small assignments on discussion board. They will be due tomorrow at midnight. And again, let me just clarify. If you get behind, if life happens, your dog has to go to the vet, your kid gets sick, you get called into work and you have to work overtime, by all means, just communicate. We'll work together. I don't want you to get more than 3 or 4 modules behind, but you can definitely catch up as we go on. So, as I drink my coffee, I'm excited to jump into this module. Module 2 is listening. And again, ironically, we're in a public speaking course. What does listening have to do with any of it? But here's the reality. We're in a culture of not great listeners, and becoming a good listener means becoming a good communicator. It also means being able to empathize with your audience, sitting in their shoes. So the highlights from this module are a couple things. One, what does good listening look like? Good listening efficiency. The best college students typically retain 50% of what they remember, which is so sad. And the other aspect I really want you to look at is noise. What is hindering you from becoming a good listener? We have a couple different kinds of noise. One of them is internal, right? We have headaches. That's physiological. We have psychological. We worry about things. When we talk about internal noise, it means we're worried or we're feeling something, and that can hinder the message that we're receiving. Really important that you pay attention to that you set worry aside, that you learn to focus, you learn to be all there, 100% in the moment. So if you're watching this, but you have your Twitter feed up, your Facebook page up, you're trying to watch a video, highlights from SportsCenter last night, you're not really retaining all this information. We also have external noise. Some of that we can control. Air conditioners, lawnmowers, kids, dogs barking. Those are things that are just everyday things we deal with, but they stand between the sender and the receiver. They inhibit the message. People talk a lot about miscommunication that causes problems at work. It causes problems in people's relationships. And there's a lot of miscommunication happening, and a lot of times it happens because of noise, and we're not aware of it, and we don't work to overcome it. So your assignment this week is a twofold. One, you're going to take a public speaking anxiety assessment. That is just what I have all my students do at the beginning of the semester, and I want to know where your anxiety levels are. I want you to know where your anxiety levels are. We're going to talk later about how to deal with that, but my goal is that we'd reduce your anxiety before the summer session is over. The second is really becoming aware of noise. You have a short discussion board. You're going to find one example of internal noise and one example of external noise. The directions are on discussion board. It's also under Module 2 that you can find under course content, but you'll need to really identify 2 of those and explain the situation and the type of communication. So was it a dyadic situation, you and your friend, you and a parent, you and your child? Was it a small group situation? Maybe there are 4 or 5 people in a room. Was it public speaking? Were you at church? Were you in a classroom? And you were struggling to hear or to be heard? And then was it a mass media? Were you watching some situation where someone was on television speaking to you, where there were too many people for there to be feedback, and yet you're still listening as a receiver, trying to hear what the sender is saying? And I want to make sure that we use terms from that communication model. My voiceover on the PowerPoint wasn't working, so remember, in all communication situations, there's always a sender, there's always a receiver. It's always important that a feedback loop exists, but it's also important that you become aware of all the types of noise or listening barriers. So let me just wrap this up quick because I want to make sure it's under 5 minutes. Make sure that by tonight you have that intro video done. Make sure that you're jumping into that listening section and the A to Z speech building basics in your textbook. You'll have a quiz soon over those chapters. But for today, you need to take the public speaking anxiety assessment, and you need to make sure that you post on discussion board your answers for noise. You have until tomorrow at midnight to do those. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.